Hi, I'm Robin Walker with VSP Walker. Welcome to another VSP video blog. The last couple weeks we've been talking about how to reduce complexity to increase profits. We started with an example of three different companies: Southwest Airlines, Dell Computer, and Aldi Grocery. Those three companies have done a phenomenal job of embracing simplicity, reducing the complexity that customers don't value, and really driving phenomenal profits to their bottom line. In the last video blog, we talked about how do you in your company, with a lot of complexity today, reduce that to simplicity and start eliminating those things that cost money that the customers don't necessarily value. It started with aligning those 7 organizational elements, and then a deeper dive into how systems and processes align together. What I want to talk about specifically today is profit velocity. What do I mean by that? It's the velocity at which you generate profit. Let's talk about some financial metrics that are out there that we look at a lot, and a lot of owners and investors these days are really driving to these metrics. Some examples of them are RONA, RONC, probably have seen some of these, EBITDA. So RONA is return on net assets. RONC is return on net capital employed. EBITDA, I'm not going to write all that out, is earnings before interest and taxes, depreciation, and amortization. These are financial metrics, and they're based on an asset base. What do we look at when we look at assets? Well, we look at cash. A lot of times we're definitely in manufacturing, looking at inventory. And we also look at our capital equipment. And we say, if we're going to invest money in these assets, we want to have a return. We want to have profit on them. That's fantastic. These are good metrics. But there's some non-financial, these are all financial. There's some non-financial things that I believe we need to be considering as well. And in the non-financial realm, there is time and people. When we talk about constraints and limiting resources within our organization, what you mainly hear talked about is equipment. We don't talk as much about time and specifically people. But every manufacturer that I visit, the people have limited hours in their day to accomplish what they need to accomplish. And what do they focus on? It becomes a bigger topic with every strategic planning I do. What do we focus our time on? How do we make our life simpler? We're working more and more hours, Robin. How do we not do that? But we have to, because it's so complex and it's so chaotic and la 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 la. Well, we have to reduce the complexity. That's what we have to do. And if we look at the return you get or the profitability you get based on the time and people that you have, it's a little different formula. So let's take, for example, the profitability you make on different products and or markets and or customers. If you're an engineer-to-order company and you have 2 different customers, one customer doesn't use a lot of customer service time, they have their ordering process down, they don't change a lot of orders, they have very strong engineering skills to where they don't need a lot of your engineering people's time when they develop a new product. So they're not using much time for the profitability that they drive to the bottom line. You got another customer that is they're completely chaotic in their organization, so they're always calling and changing orders and changing things around, bugging customer service, talking to sales, engineering. They don't have a lot of skills, so they use an enormous amount of your resources from an engineering standpoint. Now, how do you quote them when you quote a price for them? A lot of times, even though we like to do what the market will bear, a lot of times we still get down to gross margin quoting, so it's cost plus a markup. Those 2 customers may have the same gross margin, but they use phenomenally different amounts of effort to get to that profit, and that's what I'm referring to. There is a difference in true profitability when you look at it from a non-financial standpoint, and I think that is very key. So it's important to look at it in that light. Think about it's a return on effort. It's what I would refer to as profit velocity. If you can look at the amount of time different things take to drive the process through, to get the customer the end result they want, and look at it from a time standpoint. Let me give you another example. Engineer order shops. Tons of raw material that go into configured all different ways, engineered all different ways to get to an end product. Does your customer value the fact that over the years you've developed 1,000 different part numbers for bolts? They don't care. They would be perfectly fine if you offered 10 different types of bolts. You have 1,000. What happens? It's complex. It means purchasing has a lot more effort to figure out, oh, you want that bolt this time? You want this bolt this time? Remember Southwest Airlines with their 737s? They only needed one set of replacement parts. If you have 10 bolts versus 1,000 bolts, just as an example, that's huge in complexity. That is, if you look at it from what time does it take if I do this? If I take a shortcut here and introduce a new part number because I don't want to take the time to look through my part master to find a different one or one that might be similar that the customer can use. That is taking a shortcut that adds complexity that explodes in your organization. That takes away from profitability. That is a key thing that you need to focus on. So that is number 3, is really understanding your return on time. And number 4 to me, from getting from complexity to simplicity, has to do with, is very important, and that is culture. It's the human elephant. It's the human element. It is the hardest thing to conquer. It is the elephant in the room. Let's face it, it is the human element. And you need to develop a culture that embraces simplicity and that challenges complexity. I guarantee you in their mind they're saying, yeah, I embrace simplicity. I want my life to be simpler. But do they challenge the complexity that they create, that is created, that exists in your organization? Do they challenge that? When you show them the way that they can challenge complexity, that they can truly embrace and always try to find a simpler way to do this, it is phenomenal what you can discover together. So the 4 steps really to going from complexity to simplicity are: align your 7 organizational elements. Take a deeper dive into the systems and processes and make sure those are really supporting, the system is supporting and simplifying your processes. Profit velocity. Look at the value the customers will pay. Fire customers that take a lot of effort for a little profitability. It's okay to fire them once in a while. Understand that return on time and drive a culture that embraces simplicity and challenges complexity. Until next time, I know you're getting more excited about the 3 things that I'm excited about every week, and those are velocity. Make things happen faster. Simplicity, don't make business harder than it needs to be, and profitability, make more money. Thanks for joining me. Well, if you look at, oh my God, I need to cut it. I'm just going to freeze right here. Well, if you take your customer base and look at the effort, oof,
sorry,
freeze. Good Lord. Okay.
Okay, go ahead. I don't know if I should pop up or not.
Probably not.
Okay.
Okay, I'll just try to, yeah, okay, good.